So they'll be calling you a radical. So I just found out about this. And boy, way too close for home. So the San Diego Padres owner has died. Now, he's the Dodgers, the O'Malleys. There's so many ties from Ogden and LA and the Dodgers, Governor Olson, Chavez Ravine, Ogden. I mean, I go on and on. But the ties here, he got cancer, the exact same cancer as I had at the exact same time. We're the exact same age. We were in the same place. I mean, literally right down the street from each other. Our economic status just a hair different. He got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2011. Fought it in 2011, 2012. I got AML de novo. AML Leukemia non-Hodgkin's lymphoma are basically Siamese twin diseases. They're nasty, vicious, brutal diseases. I have de novo. I was given 2 months to live in 2011. They're very hard, difficult to beat. They're hard to fight. They're wicked. We got sick at the exact identical same time. We're the exact identical same age. We're both 1960 models. Like I said, our economic status is a little different. So he's right there in La Jolla. I'm right there, what I call the slums of La Jolla, North PB. So I got treated at LDS East State. Now, I'm not sure who treated him. I guess Scripps, because Tony Gwynn got cancer in the same area. His was a little, same type of fight, same era. Him and Tony Gwynn, myself, fighting leukemia at the same time. That's my place right there. So he lives in La Jolla. I was staying in North La Jolla, as you know, rehabbing, going back and forth from here from Utah. All my typo work right there, Sinonofre, all my work there. So they beat it back. Now, I'm not sure if Scripps treated him. I was treated at LDS East State in Salt Lake, as you know. I'm very sad to see this, that he's died. I mean, wow. He beat it back, I guess, it reappeared again in 2015. Now, I'm not sure if it was the exact same non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that came back, but supposedly, I'm reading his narrative. Here I am right there. I'm right there, doing the typo work in La Jolla. He lives in La Jolla. I mean, I'm right there. How much of this cancer fight all these years about I'm fighting leukemia? Right there. I'm sleeping on the beach. As you know, doing the typo work right there in La Jolla. I mean, PB Point, how many videos I have at PB Point? PB Point is actually in La Jolla. I cannot believe how similar our paths are as far as the cancer. I've had open heart surgery twice, including this year. Now, I don't know exactly what he died from. Now, did it come back again? But I was just reading that 2-time survivor. Well, listen, this is important. With AML leukemia and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and you don't think I'm an expert on this. Oh, I'm an expert, probably one of the world's foremost. So I don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. My tennis playing La Jolla mother. So this is important. We, the researchers, the research PhD that I've evolved myself into, this whole dynamic, I had to go freelance. Here's this right here. I'm just looking here. I mean, everything in my house is leukemia. They give us that important curve. Now, I know that curve like no other. When you first are diagnosed with these brutal blood cancers, the survival, a 5-year mark is important. Real important. But even the 10-year mark's even more important. But, the first couple years, I mean, that thing flatlines on you, and then you get to year 2, survival, you start to hook up a little bit. Survival rate is not that high on these diseases even today. I mean, they've got better. Very sad to see this. You know, here I am right there in San Diego the entire time. He's right there in La Jolla. I'm right there in the slums of La Jolla. I'm sleeping on the beach right there. You know, he lives in La Jolla. We're the exact same age. Both 1960. Both got the cancer the exact same time, 2011. You know what I think it is. You know, I'm very sad to see. I mean, he's most likely a billionaire. He's the O'Malley's grandson. You know, I got some incredible stories about the O'Malleys in Chavez Ravine and Governor Olson. You know, with the O'Malleys and that whole fight. Governor Olson's from here in Ogden, Utah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, of course, Lasorda here, you know, the Dodgers here, you know, Ogden, their minor league team. I'm very sad to see this. Talk about get close to home. You know, he's a billionaire. I don't know if it was Scripps that treated him. Now, my guess is, you know, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, the treatment's the same treatment that as I have. It's typically central line in your jugular vein, 5 cycles and 5 rounds of the heavy chemo. Now, the chemo is a very different cocktail for every single, they need to change the name. It's not your father's chemo, but it's very, you know, and then you're in an ICU unit, you're quarantined, and they beat it back, and then non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a lot of times, after the 5 rounds, they like to do a transplant. Now, I was too sick for a transplant. And my daughters, myself, I decided, and I walked the coast. I started right there in San Diego, and I walked all the way to over San Francisco in a sleeping bag after 3 rounds of the heavy chemo. I had ARCM squared. I was one of the first ones to get it. The most famous leukemia patient probably, well, it could be in American history, was in the room right next to him. You can look him up, Marshall Jensen. He's the first one that got the HIV freaking genome fight back on it. Because he and I made the decision on our transplant the exact same day. And that decision we both had to make was in 2012. And he was young. He had a transplant, didn't work. He went to MD Anderson, which MD Anderson is partner now, as you know, right there in La Jolla with Scripps. It's Scripps MD Anderson now. He went into their special unit, one of the first 25 to get the special transplant. It didn't work. He had 2 transplants. So then he was the first person in the world to get the HIV genome. And, you know, it was a mistake, and he died. In fact, I was in San Diego when he died. And I got home to LDS, St. Carla did. I mean, I was involved with a big group. But we know there was one radical outbreak, crazy wave of leukemia in 2011. You know where I say. You know, all my work there, fighting Sinanofri, by the way, the waste comes here. Another tie to Utah, San Diego, 801 to 619. Now, would I go to Padre games? Oh, when I was younger, all the time. I loved the fucking Padres. I loved Tony Gwynn. But that's when San Diego Stadium. Now, you know why it was called the Murph. You know what he died of? The sports writer. You know, Murphy. They changed the name from San Diego Stadium to the Murph. Murphy. He was great. We loved him. He died so young of cancer. But, you know, I think every time I hear any cancer from San Diego or you know, of course, I think of Tony Gwynn. He's gotten his lymph nodes in his neck. Same here. So I saw this and I read it, and I didn't even know. You know, I knew he was the owner. There I am the whole time. I didn't even know that he got leukemia the exact same time I did. There I'm at the whole time, sleeping on the beach, working up down that coast. Think about how many videos I have at PB Point on the low tide. PB Point's in La Jolla. I gotta get this stand.